Chapter 10. Yu Sui had been waiting for Shi Luo to kowtow to him, and when he saw this rejection notification, he didn't know quite how to react. Did he just get rejected? It's been so long since someone rejected Whisper's friend request. Yu Sui looked at his rejected friend request and did some deep self-examination. Was it because he was not very love enough? Yu Sui looked at Shi Luo's provocative and arrogant appearance in the live broadcast room, and felt that he might have been a little too conservative. This aristocratic brat must have turned his nose up at him. Yu Sui hated losing face and really didn't want to bother with this anymore. But he thought back to the care and consideration Kei Hao had shown him when they were in school and thought about how his hardships this night would all come to nothing if he quit now. He gritted his teeth and proceeded to change his nickname and sent Shi Luo another friend request. Yu Sui made a guess based on experience. A kid like Shi Luo with 3 hoops around his ears must have gone through some pretty tough things. He must have turned up his nose at something as mild as this. He needed to redouble his efforts. While in the middle of broadcasting, Shi Luo glanced at the friend request prompt at the lower left corner. He clicked it open. System prompt. Cruel bloody dream, sent you a friend request. The reason for applying, my deliberate provocation. How long can you endure? Accept or reject? Shi Luo. Shi Luo didn't want to endure it even for a second, and directly refused. But only half a minute later, a new friend request came in again. System prompt. Heart breaks until numb, sent you a friend request. The reason for applying, hundreds and thousands of holes through the heart. No blood left to bleed. I'm already used to it. Accept or reject? Shi Luo clicked reject once again. 10 seconds later, system prompt. Living badly, sent you a friend request. The reason for applying, gambled, got drunk, hurt and got hurt for you before. I placed my bet and never regretted. Accept or reject? Shi Luo quickly refused, and then 10 seconds later, system prompt. For my brothers, sent you a friend request. The reason for applying, Che Ko Che. Who would dare break my brother's wings? I will destroy his entire heaven. Accept or reject? Shi Luo closed his eyes. His eyes stung. Shi Luo clicked on reject again, and started another match. He stopped looking at the system prompts and concentrated on playing this game. In the FS base, Yu Sui looked at the screen and frowned. This was totally unexpected. He had come across a hard stubble today. Why won't this kid accept his friend request? Could it be that he doesn't like this tone? Was this not hardcore enough? It wasn't that he couldn't make it even more moronic, but Yu Sui himself found it a little hard to endure. This was too seeking stupid. Today, Yu Sui was supposed to be able to open a live broadcast and make his rounds. He thought about it and came to the conclusion that in order to successfully add this little bastard as a friend, he'll have to take some emergency measures. He completely abandoned his precious time this night. Yu Sui has been an esports star since he made his debut. In fact, he carried a heavy burden to maintain his image as an idol. There was absolutely no way he could ever let anyone know the black history of moronic things he'd gotten up to just now. But if doesn't manage to add him now, who knows when the little bastard will do a live broadcast next? If he lets go of him now, will he have to go door to door to search for him next time? What if he flees to and hides in the mukbang channel next time? Yu Sui cannot let the tiger return to the mountain. While Yu Sui was hesitating, he saw through the webcam that while the stand-in shield was loading, Shi Luo took out his phone, turned it on and made a call. Yu Sui raised an eyebrow. As expected, this little bastard hadn't opened his phone until just now. But who was he calling? Was he going to order takeout? If he was ordering food, he'd have to declare the address of the internet cafe. Yu Sui quickly turned up the volume of the live broadcast room, ready to write down Shi Luo's address to give to Kei Hao. Yu Sui leaned over and took a pen from his neighbor's desk. He was preparing to write down the address for when Shi Luo's call connected, and he hadn't even found a piece of paper yet, when Shi Luo said coldly in the live broadcast, Kei Hao, is this as much as you can do? You posted my information on some sort of alternative dating forum and had a bunch of freaks come and harass me online. Huff, did you think that would scare me? Shi Luo, who was poised with paper and pen, Yu Sui said to himself, of course, you're not scared. You're one of them. You can't be any happier finding somewhere you finally belong. What have you got to be afraid of? Before Yu Sui could put the pen and paper back, Keihao's call finally came. Yu Sui had no choice and accepted the call. Keihao was at a loss. What have you done? Everything was going so well and then my cousin suddenly called me and chewed me out. Yu Sui had a terrible headache. He picked up the cigarette case, lowered his head and picked one up with his lips. It's nothing. I wanted to add him as a friend to talk to him. Keihao was even more confused. Then why'd he call to scold me? Yu Sui lit the cigarette. He found out that you were the one who asked me to find him. Oh, Keihao couldn't help complaining. How did you get exposed so early? Can he still add you now that he knows we know each other? Yu Sui didn't want to bother telling Keihao how hard he had worked all night. It'll take too long to tell you. I'm hanging up. I'll try again. Yu Sui didn't wait for Keihao to say anything more and hung up. He accessed his side account once again and bought a rename card. Yu Sui found it troublesome to register a new account every time, so he only bought a rename card to change the nickname. One name change was worth 200 yuan. For one side account, Yu Sui had already spent more than 1,000 yuan tonight. Yu Sui looked at the live broadcast room, grinding his teeth. He was left with no choice but to follow Shi Luo's script. Yu Sui changed his nickname and signature, and once again sent a friend request to Shi Luo. In the internet cafe, Shi Luo had finished another match and continued to queue for another one. Looking at the flashing system prompt sign, Shi Luo sneered and opened it. System prompt. Nervous about online dating? Sent you a friend request. The reason for applying QAQ, someone in the forum posted that I could get 10 yuan at a time for harassing you online. Little Gurgur, I have no more money for breakfast tomorrow. Can I add you please? Brother, help me out. Accept or reject? Shi Luo was preparing to hit reject when he suddenly paused. 10 yuan, Shi Luo had on a terrible expression as he looked at this friend request. His face was darker than the bottom of a pot. After half a minute of hesitation, Shi Luo clicked accept. Shi Luo clicked on the in-game chat box and with a cold expression on his face, sent a message to his newly added friend. Are you with those guys just now? There quickly came a reply. No way, I only bury love by myself. I haven't joined any family. Shi Luo's arm was itchy. Shi Luo resisted the strong urge to directly delete the other, typing, do what you want but don't disturb me. Nervous about online dating? Immediately responded. Okay. But Gurgur, I also play this game. Can you take me with you to play a match? Shi Luo typed out. No. Nervous about online dating? Added then, can you add me on WeChat, Gurgur? I'll wait until you have time to take me with you to play a game. Shi Luo suppressed his ire. He hesitated for a full minute before typing out a series of numbers. With a ding, he got a friend request on WeChat. Shi Luo quickly closed the in-game chat interface and focused on playing the game. In the FS base, Yu Sui also swallowed down his disgust as he looked at his side account and his newly changed WeChat name. He suppressed his anger and called back Keihao. I've been added as his friend in the game. When I have time, I'll play a round or two with him to see. It's impossible right now. Yu Sui was exhausted physically and mentally. He's also added me on WeChat. I'll keep an eye on him for you. If there's something really important and your family can't get in touch with him, I can send him a message for you guys. Does he have a place to live? Keihao quickly thanked him. Thank you very much. Thanks your thoughtfulness. Where he lives, I don't know. Yu Sui laughed. Is he really your cousin? He's a student who ran away from home, doing live broadcasts in some seedy internet cafe, and you're not worried that he has nowhere to live? What if he's sleeping under some bridge? Sigh. Don't worry. Keihao said, he's been running away from home since he was 13 or 14. At first, everyone in our family was also sent out to search for him. This happens several times a year, until things got to how they are now. He himself is used to it and his family is also used to it. Yu Sui frowned. They've been quarreling since he was a child. Does he have some sort of grudge? Keihao sighed. In any case, he has his own pocket money. He must have somewhere to live. As for the other things, it's a long story. Yu Sui had no interest in listening. He said, let's leave things here for now. This is all because I owe you for back then. After I've confirmed whether he can cut it as a pro, I'll delete him. I have no time to be looking after kids for you, Keihao quickly said. Of course, of course. Yusui hung up the phone and glanced at Shiluo's live broadcast room. Shiluo had already ended the broadcast. Yusui rubbed his tired eyes, and his phone rang again. Ji Yanan was calling. Yusui leaned back on his gaming chair and spread his long legs. He said lazily, "Captain. Just finished with my business dinner." Ji Yanan smiled and said, "How's your search for that anchor?" "I'm free now. Need me to look for someone to do a professional search?" Yusui shook his head. "No, I handled it myself." Ji Yanan had drank a lot, and it was quite talkative. "Tell me, who's this amazing player you've taken an interest in? What job does he play?" Yusui said, "It has nothing to do with me. He plays a medic." Ji Yanan laughed. "Well, does he play well?" Yusui frowned. "Passable." Ji Yanan said, "What does that mean?" "Better than you." The corner of Yusui's mouth raised slightly. He smiled and said nothing. Ji Yanan also laughed. "I'm talking nonsense. But even if he's not as good as you, maybe he can be recruited to be a substitute for you." Yusui raised his eyebrows. "Did you drink too much? Our team has always never been the tightly knit type. If you're able to play, then you're on the starting lineup. If you suck, then you're gone. We don't even have a second team. Since when have we been able to afford this luxurious thing called a substitute? No one else can have one, but you can." Ji Yanan said half seriously and half jokingly, "How about it? Find a substitute for you. That way you can have more time to slowly take over the team's affairs. This really is getting to be a little bit too much for me. So, help me out." Yusui didn't even think about it. "Impossible." Ji Yanan said again, "Do you really not want a substitute?" Yusui simply said, "No need, so long as my hands don't stop, I'll play." Ji Yanan laughed. "Okay, I'll listen to you. If you're not willing, then that's that." "Hey, that's right. Haven't I sent you the regular season match schedule yet?" Yusui said. "No. I'm an idiot." Ji Yanan patted his forehead fiercely. "Blame me, blame me, blame me. Your manager recently asked for a leave. He sent me the schedule the day before yesterday. I've been so busy recently, I totally forgot." Yusui frowned. It's all my fault." Ji Yanan apologized quickly. "I'm so tired these days. I'll send it to you on WeChat right away." Yusui said helplessly, "Send it to me. I'll handle the logistics for you. I'll have them arrange the details early." Yusui hung up the phone and was about to order a takeaway when Ji Yanan called again. Yusui answered the phone, and Ji Yanan was confused and said, "Oh, my eyes are getting a bit blurry. Why can't I find you on WeChat? Did you delete me?" Yusui was irritable. "How much have you had to drink?" Ji Yanan hurriedly apologized. Sorry. It's my fault." Yusui said, "I'll send you a message on WeChat and you can just reply back." Ji Yanan knew that he was in the wrong and said, "Okay." Yusui hung up the phone and sent a message over on WeChat. A few thousand kilometers away, Ji Yanan, completely hammered, stood in the center of the well-lit hotel lobby, squinting and holding his mobile phone, solemnly waiting. After half a minute, his mobile phone buzzed. Nervous about online dating, the schedule, quickly.